And in lane 1, Cub E Scout. And in lane 2, Super Lion. Pinewood Derby. It is a time-honored tradition in Cub Scouts. But after nearly 10 years of racing with my Scouts, I have learned that it is more than just nails, paint, and wood. Stick around today because we're going to dive into the hidden gems of Pinewood Derby. And stay till the end because I give you my 3 best tips for making an award-winning car. But before we get into that topic, let's talk about today's camp gear. Today's camp gear is the rolling cart. The rolling cart, that expanding cart that we pick up from Academy. We carry lots of stuff. A sleeping bag, a tent, a stove, another sleeping bag, maybe a cot, a battery, lights, all kinds of things. Now, we can't carry those all by ourselves, and yes, our Scouts should be helping us, but let's face it, when they show up to camp, the first thing they want to go do is play, and we end up carrying it all by ourselves. Now, that roll cart has saved me many trips to the parking lot. I load everything up in once, and I go to the campsite. Plus, it's a really nice way of staying organized. I roll the cart up to my campsite, I start unloading, take the tent out, set it up, take the cot out, set it up, sleeping bags, roll them out. Anything I don't need right then and there can stay in that cart so that I know exactly where it is. So today's camp gear is that roll cart. It is a lifesaver. Well worth the $45 that I spent on mine. Pinewood Derby is more than just wood, weights, and a little bit of paint. It's a tradition in scouting, but how and why do we have such an event anyways? But after my 10 years of scouting, I've learned that there are hidden gems in the Pinewood Derby. Number 1 being sportsmanship. Losing is a fact of life. Not everybody can win everything. And in Pinewood Derby, a scout learns to lose with dignity. They learn that, hey, I didn't win this year. I'll remember this and this and this for next year, and congratulations, winner. Good job, attaboy. A scout is kind, and it's really hard for elementary youth to learn to not be a sore loser or to get upset because they lost. Scouts learn that if we do win, let's not brag about it, because that person that didn't win may be really sensitive about it. You could have lost last year, and chances are you probably did, unless you're a lifelong winner of every Pinewood Derby race. But you probably lost last year, or you may lose next year. Learn to not brag, because everybody else may not have the same opportunity to win as you did. They need to learn that to be respectful to every other scout. A scout is a brother or sister to every scout. And if we start bragging and rubbing it in their face how we won and you lost, you start to defeat the program. So they learn sportsmanship by learning to congratulate all racers. Good job, good job, good job. I coach baseball, and at the end of every game, both teams light up on opposite sides of the field, and they meet on the pitcher's mound and congratulate each player. They figured out how to show sportsmanship. So maybe we can too. Have every scout congratulate all the other scouts on a race well done. Hey, that scout may have poured their heart and soul into that car, and they didn't win. So every scout should learn to congratulate all the racers. Hey, thanks for racing. Great job. Better luck next year. Or congratulations on your win. That was a really awesome car. I love that Lego theme. Our next great engineer may very well be in our packs. They're going to design the forever charging system, or the potential energy that can power an entire city. But they got their love of engineering from Pinewood Derby. Pinewood Derby sparked a love of engineering. How can I make something better? How can I make it faster? How can I make it smoother? And then the next thing you know, they spend their entire lives just engineering and designing things, or they develop a lifelong love of building things, and they can become the next greatest house builder or engineering architect, all because they participated in the Pinewood Derby. They learn critical thinking skills. That's something that is missing. Being able to have a problem and creatively think of a solution to get out of that problem. In Pinewood Derby, hey, my car's a little heavy on this one side. What can we do? Do we add more weight to one side, or do we take weight from the other side? My car looks a little funky. How do I make it both cool and aerodynamic? Scouts learn the system of plan, do, check, and act. That's the process that we use to create a product. We plan something out, we do all the research and put things together, then we check to see if everything's working well, and then we act on it. We put the project into motion. And then, of course, being able to say, well, that didn't work out, let's back up and try a different route instead of, well, that didn't work out. As far as engineering, they get to learn that maybe my theme doesn't work so well. Perhaps a Lego isn't the right theme. I mean, we got a Lego square block, and then we have a wedge. That's pretty aerodynamic. Or we paint this to look like a Lego. So they learn how to think things through, how to plan it out, how to creatively come up with ideas, and how is it all going to come together. And quite possibly one of the coolest and best things about Pinewood Derby is learning craftsmanship. I have built all the vehicles with my sons, and now I'm building them with my daughter. To teach them craftsmanship, the measure twice, cut once, to sand with the grain, not against the grain, to enjoy the process of putting something together. I can't put the wheels on before I paint it. That developing and love of craftsmanship. So as promised, I want to give you 3 of my favorite tips to make every car a winning car. Number 1 is the axle. The axle is pretty simply a nail. It's been stamped out, and because it's been stamped out, it's got little barbs up by the head. I like to take a file and sand off those barbs so that they're smooth and that wheel doesn't slow down on the axle, act like a little knife edge on it. I just simply put the nail in the drill, spin the drill, and then using my file, I cut off those barbs. I usually get my scouts involved with this process, either filing it or working the drill, but just so that they can feel like they're part of the process. Number 2 is weight placement. You should be able to balance your car about 1 inch in front of the axle. I'm not talking perfectly balanced, but that should be about right there. Add your weight so that the car is balanced right there at that point. That's the center of gravity for that car when it's sitting at the top of the track. So when the gate drops, the weight pulls it down and then pushes it down the track. We lost so many races due to improper weight placement. All we did was just add weight to make the 5 ounces. So then the next year when we did a little research planning and discovered that weight placement was more important than the actual reaching of the 5 ounces, the doors opened up and my scouts started to enjoy it. Now, the first year they didn't really win. I mean, they raced better than the year before, but they felt better about that car because they put more thought into the car. So number 2 is weight placement. Number 3 is graphite. Now, I don't mean a pencil. I tried that. It does not work. I'm talking actual powder graphite. And you put it in the car from the inside of the tires, like so. That graphite acts like a little lubricant on the axle and tire so that it lowers the friction. That right there is worth at least 1 whole second. it gets a little messy. I'd recommend using some paper towels, but put it on when you're building the car. Spin the tires to get it nice and evenly distributed. And then before your race, apply a little bit more. And if your Scout goes into the final heat, apply a little bit more before that race. Just a little bit. It should come out the other side, and then it reapplied liberally. And the difference is night and day. So Pinewood Derby, it's more than just putting something together so that there's a race. And it's more than just going out there and having fun, even though that's important. It's about sportsmanship, it's about engineering, it's about learning the process of building something with these guys. So use the 3 tips that I gave you, and then make this year's Pinewood Derby or next year's if yours is passed, and have fun racing with your Scouts. Okay. I don't have a shower thought for you, but I got a really deep thought. It just kind of hit me the other day. Not literally. But the question that I want to ask is, if dogs are colorblind, then why do all their toys have different colors? So I hope you enjoyed the information today. And if you're new here, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and then toggle notifications to all. That way you won't miss a future episode, because we do this every week. So for my Scoutmaster / Cubmaster Minute, I have an old one for you. A young Native American went to his chief and said, "Some days I'm so angry and some days I'm so happy. Why is that?" And the chief told the young man, "Inside everybody are 2 wolves. One is full of anger and is bent to destroy the world. And the other one is designed and happy to spread peace and joy across the entire universe. And they fight every day to see who survives." The young man asked, "Well, which one is it?" And the chief says, "That depends on the one you feed. Are we going to feed our wolves with anger and frustration, or are we going to choose happiness?" And that is my Scoutmaster Minute. Every time. So that's all we got time for today, guys. And if you liked today's episode, go ahead and click that one right there to continue watching. Or you can click that one and head over to the YouTube channel. So as always, guys, and say it with me, go out, have fun, and don't forget to scout on purpose.